Like I said, y'all hadn't scrimmaged. How eager are you to kind of finally get to do that eventually?
Yeah, it was good. Today wasn't full contact, but it was still nice to kind of get to move the ball phase of running offense, which is obviously necessary for any games, and we haven't been able to do that yet for spring. So to do that and kind of call plays on the fly, opposed to having a script, it's more realistic, and it's good to have that experience for sure. But looking forward to next week when we get to some more, even more realistic stuff.
You're breaking in a new center this year. How's
Yeah.
that relationship going with you and Eli, and how's he doing kind of with the transition?
Yeah, it's been good. It's taken a lot. I mean, obviously we still have some snaps here and there that aren't up to our standard quite yet, but I mean, we got a lot of time, and that's just what comes from getting in those extra reps and taking extra snaps with him. And it's just going to come with experience and repetition. So he's done a really good job so far. He's got a lot on his plate now, moving from guard to center in terms of having to make calls and everything, but he's a smart kid, and we trust that he can do that.
Rich Scangarello was saying the other day, I was asking about that there were some things that they put in for Trey Lance with the Niners that they never really even got to because Garoppolo was a quarterback. He said you opened some doors they can do with maybe some of that stuff. Have you all started working on some of that stuff? Have you seen some of that?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, you might be thinking like obviously Trey has the ability to run, so they had some read option stuff, and I think we'll get to that eventually. Haven't done too much of that quite yet, but also just with like the type of quarterback you are and what kind of throws they're able to make and what kind of reads they're able to make, it might change what your primary play calls and primary concepts are for that specific quarterback. So maybe Trey has a certain booklet of concepts that he feels comfortable with, while Jimmy has a different. There might be some overlapping, and there might be some stuff that Trey can do better than Jimmy, and vice versa. So it's just trying to figure out what those concepts are going to be for me and what's going to be best for our offense.
Well, you're getting to work with Keaton for the first.
Too,
Sorry?
is like being compared to NFL quarterbacks and like how you can run an offense based on kind of like what they're doing. Is that different for you? Like, how does that make you feel when?
No, I think it's just for the coaches to feel out and for us to be transparent in talking about what we feel comfortable with doing and what type of throws we're comfortable making, and just even though I might personally think that I can make every throw, what concepts and throws are at higher percentage and what I can see better and picture and visualize better. So I think it's both his and my job to figure out what those are. But I mean, he can make comparisons all he wants. I'm obviously going to just be me, and the offense is going to be molded around that.
You've had a lot of OCs in college. How do you kind of just keep all that together and sort of mesh? I mean,
Yeah, I think it's helped me a lot just with how coachable I am. I think it's been able to help me kind of really take the practice or the film room and the meeting room and transition that onto the practice field, just because I've been having to learn new offenses almost every year I've been in college, and obviously at the next level stuff isn't going to stay the same either. So going to hopefully have a lot of different coaches at the next level, and it's just that experience is only going to help me.
when you're in that room with Rich and the other coaches, is there a lot of back and forth at this point between you?
Yeah, we're very open conversation. A lot of it's kind of listening to what coach has to say, but whenever we have thoughts on something, we are very comfortable with jumping in and speaking our mind. And we like to call it a sanctuary in there. Everything that's said in there stays in there, and we should not and will not be hesitant to bring up any thought in that room.
Well, you're getting to work with Keaton for the first time in a kind of a practice setting. How's that been, and what kind of weapon can he be for your all's offense?
Good. He's shown flashes for sure. He needs to get better at some things, but I mean, it's the same stuff that's been happening with all of our skills, just with understanding the new routes that we put in and how they actually want them to run the route, and just getting that feel down of how to feel windows and feel coverages around you and how that affects your specific stem and your specific route to get you in the best position to get open. And we've shown times, and Keaton has shown times where he has understood that, but it's something that we got to get better as a unit, and he has to get better at too. But obviously didn't have him last year. Worked a lot with him in the offseason. I know that he's a great player, and we just got to keep bringing him along and trust the process.
Coach Stoops mentioned that turnovers has been a big thing that you guys are working on. How has that been coming along, and what are some other things that he's really keying in on you guys?
Yeah, it's been, so I think we've thrown the ball out of the back more in spring ball this year than we had all of camp last year and the season combined. So that's one thing that we have really hammered down on, and having to trust the quarterbacks in that even though a play might be called for this specific concept and this specific shot, this specific route, if it's not there, or you just don't feel good about it, maybe not try to force it, but just come down and take the back and take the completions and just keep bringing them along. And the more that they get those reps, the more comfortable they get with them. So it's been really good to see that, and I've liked the way how we've been able to take checkdowns and take what the defense gives us so far.
Is there anything in particular that you Coming into spring, you did, I want to get better in this area.
That just coming down off of shot plays, coming down, checking the ball down to the running back. I left a lot of incompletions on the table last year, even though it was 68% completion last year. Could have very easily been 73, 74 just for taking some of the stuff, which is really good. And that's just one of those steps we need to do to get over that 70% threshold.
Is that a technique thing?
It's just a decision-wise. It's decision-wise, and just shot call doesn't mean shot taken. And it's coming down and taking high percentage throws to the backs, where 2-yard gains with 1 missed tackle could easily turn into 10-yard gains.
Is it 70% threshold? Is that a goal for you this year?
70% completion, that's the goal. And we were close last year, but it's a pretty good number to set yourself at as a quarterback.
What do you like about this group so far this year? Just in spring ball, what do you like about it?
I like the energy. I like the competition that's been going on, especially in the receiver room. There's been a lot of guys stepping up, knowing what the opportunities there are at hand, going out there and eager to make plays, eager to be the guys on the field. We had some guys make one-on-one plays that we didn't really see a lot last year, just today, which was great to see. And I just love the competition, and I love the energy for sure.
You and Wandale were able to strike up a pretty good rapport real early. Is there somebody or a couple people that you've been able to kind of get something?
Nobody
like
in
that?
particular, but I just feel really comfortable across the board with the handful of guys that have made good plays for us. And I think specifically, I think Chris Lewis has come along a lot, and he made a couple really good 50-50 balls, which we need to get out of the mindset of those being 50-50 balls and then being 90-10 balls with our receivers, just to really trust them that we're throwing the ball for them to make a play because we trust that they're going to make a play. And that's a part of our offense that we didn't have too much of last year that we know we can get to.
Couple more. How have you been developing some chemistry with Tavion and getting him coming in fresh?
Yeah, it's just the timing and the chemistry and accuracy of the routes and stuff that we're running with him. We've been running a lot of slot stuff with him. He's a really good feel in the slot for those choice in or out breaking routes. And he's got smooth hands and just smooth body control. So we've seen a lot from him, seen a lot of really good things, and just going to come with repetition. Just going to come with the more reps and the more throws I can get to him, the more comfortable we're going to get with each other. But feel good about where we're at for sure.
What kind of jump do you think Chris Ryder, you guys could take, the guy behind you? I mean, what have you seen out of him so far? And what could he be?
Chris is being Chris. It's where he makes the kind of Chris plays is when the pads come on and it's full contact and you can't just tap him on the hip. You got to bring down all 230 pounds of him, So it's tough to kind of see glimpses of what Chris can do in like practice settings, but when we get to full contact, it's going to be good to see him back to doing what he's known to do. And I think that he's been a lot better of being a receiver and understanding pass protections, getting out of check protection faster, and being better with the ball in his hands in space.
Josh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Josh last one.
Josh Wes called Kentucky, transferred you the other day, kind of joking around and stuff. When you're bringing in guys or guys are kind of around, talking, I assume they lean on you and guys like him, guys who kind of went through the process before. I guess what makes it, what makes that process difficult for guys, and what makes Kentucky different than maybe some other places?
I mean, I would just speak from the offensive standpoint, just with the offense we run, and just you ask the offensive guys in the draft this year how much it could help them throughout the process and the interview process of talking about the type of schemes we ran and talking about the type of calls and the formations, and a lot of the terminology we use is very similar to a lot of the terminology used in the NFL. A lot of the concepts we use are very similar, both run and pass. So obviously our focus is to get the offense to as good as it can be and to dominate at this level, but with the ultimate goal to obviously go to the next level, there really isn't a better situation here than anyone else in the country.
Okay, folks, thank you very much.